can ask the Minister for Policy and Reform if he'll consider updating the whistleblowing policy to ensure that the Public Service Commission is informed in the initial complaint stage.
The Minister to reply, Mr Thomas.
Thank you very much, Mr President. The whistleblowing policy is endorsed by Council of Ministers and applies to all employees of government. It aims to enable members of staff to identify what constitutes a serious concern or wrongdoing and provide avenues for them to raise concerns and receive feedback on any action taken. Above all, it is designed to protect individuals who wish to make a protected disclosure. The policy recommends that in the first instance staff raise their concern with their line manager, but also provides detailed alternatives if an individual does not feel confident using this avenue or is unhappy with their line manager's response. There are many scenarios under which a whistleblowing complaint could be made, and these may be potentially very sensitive or difficult, particularly in the early stages when it is vital to obtain the correct facts quickly and discreetly. Therefore, on many occasions, making a disclosure to the Public Services Commission may not actually be the quickest way to expedite matters, given that they, in turn, would have to refer to the department concerned. Given that the policy has proven to operate effectively as far as I'm aware, there are currently no plans to update the whistleblowing policy, which was last updated in September 2016.
Supplementary, Ms Sage.
Thank you, Mr President. In order to maintain the integrity of this policy and to ensure its effectiveness when protected disclosures are raised, does the Minister not agree with me that if you have got a serious concern with an officer more senior than you, it is very difficult to then report that to the said officer? And what we currently have within the policy is officers actually looking at their own situations. I believe, and I hope the Minister will agree to look at this, that in order to ensure that policy is adhered to and people have the freedom to report things openly, that it needs to be independent from their own department, because otherwise it could cause them implications in the future, and particularly, and I am aware, that some people have had repercussions with these cases. So can the Minister please commit to looking at that for me?
Minister to reply.
Thank you very much, Mr President. I will commit to revisiting comments in that last question, and also invite other suggestions from other honourable members to be made in the light of that commitment. But what I wanted to state very forcefully is that there's a legal basis to protected disclosures in employment law in the Isle of Man, firstly. Secondly, that the alternative procedures do include access to people outside the department. And thirdly, what I'd like to state is that we have people like MERS, the Industrial Relations Service, and we have MHKs and MLCs who are there to make sure that that things are handled properly. And fourthly and finally, I just want us all to remember that this is a very tricky area, because what we're talking about with whistleblowing are criminal offences, frauds, financial mismanagement, corruption, physical and emotional abuse of prisoners, children or elderly in care, health and safety issues, medical negligence, undue favour, breaches of legislation, risks to the environment, that sort of thing. And often this is mixed up with accusations that are better dealt with and properly dealt with in the grievance procedure, or properly dealt with in terms of other sort of policy discourse when it's an underlying policy issue that's the issue that's being disputed by an officer. So this is a very tricky area. I've made the commitment right at the beginning of this answer, but I don't want people to, and I welcome contributions at this stage to make sure any review that's necessary is properly informed, but I don't want people to go away with the idea that this is an easy topic.
Final supplementary, Ms Edge.
Thank you, Mr President. Just with regards to what the Minister said there, that that people do have access to Manx Industrial Relations. Is the Minister aware that sometimes when it goes to Manx Industrial Relations that they could go to an arbitration situation, and that sort of restricts people being able to take it any further? Can the Minister ensure that that is also looked at for me, please?
Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr President. That's a good suggestion. I do undertake to talk to MERS and round access to MERS to identify for my own self